It's still possible to level up your gaming gear. Here's how you can do it. Let's be honest, it's kind of a weird time to be a gamer right now. On one hand, it is absolutely amazing, right? You have effectively 4 new consoles. You have the Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, you have the PlayStation 5 with a disc drive and PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, and then you also have, the RTX 3090, the RTX 3080, and a whole other smattering of cards, none of which you can really buy unless you have a sniping tool that can go in there and buy things from when they become available on websites, or you got a pre-order in. There's realistically not an easy way to get a next-gen console under the tree unless you're willing to pay an exuberant amount on eBay or from Craigslist, which don't do that because that's only encouraging the behavior. And if you want a next-gen graphics card, just good luck because they're all selling out instantly. And so if you're trying to if you want to get a next-gen console, your best bet is honestly to wait because you're going to go through a lot of stress and you're not going to get a lot of reward, and it's going to be tough. So putting together this video, I was thinking like, hey, what are 5 ways you can actually level up your gaming gear without honestly stressing? And so here's what I have put together, things that I have used or things that I'm honestly looking at buying that are not going to be related to having to pay for a bot or just getting lucky. These are things you should be mostly able to go out and buy and put them under your Christmas tree or just start playing right now to level up your gaming gear. So let's kick things off first is, hey, just upgrade your headset, right? That is one of the easiest ways to really enhance your gaming experience. And there's some really good options out there. Corsair just announced the HS75XB, which we know works with the next gen console. And then there's also really good options from like SteelSeries, the Arctis 9X, Turtle Beach Stealth 700 Gen 2. And then I am personally using the Rig 800 XLs, but I don't personally know if you scroll back in the channel, you're like, well, what is Brad using? I don't know if I can honestly recommend those right now because there's some weird bug with mine that on occasion, the audio jumps like 5 decibels, 6 decibels, and like blows your eardrums out. It's a really fantastic experience. I'm actually going to be looking to buy a new headset here in the near future. And of course, don't forget about B&O. B&O is going to be launching their Xbox headset here, I think in January. And so there's a bunch of good options. Even if you don't have a Series X or S or next gen PlayStation, go grab a new headset because that is definitely one way you can do it. Now, something a little outside the gaming realm, but it's definitely going to improve your gaming is, what about your router? If you're using the router that your cable company or internet provider gives to you, you need to get a reality check. There are a ton of good options out there. I personally recommend things from Amplify. Amplify is what I use in my house. This is not paid or sponsored by anybody. This is just me. This is what I have in my house. I have the Amplify HD. That is the new Alien that you see there on the screen. I have that middle white one. There's also gaming editions, but this is one of the easiest ways you can just improve the Wi-Fi performance in your house. Now, of course, I always recommend that you just hardwire in, but I know for some people that is just absolutely not possible. So consider upgrading your internet. Now, there's also other solutions out there from like Arrow, which is an Amazon company, and also Google makes a decent one as well. But at the end of the day, I'm not a big fan of giving Amazon or Google more data, and that is why I chose effectively the Amplify HD, and I've continued to add more modules, and I have really good Wi-Fi really across my entire house. Super easy to control, by the way. And so that is just one option that you can look at for enhancing your gaming experience. Go swap out a new router. You will definitely get a lot of value out of doing something like that. Now, this next one, I will admit, is only going to pertain to a small subset of people because if you did manage to get an Xbox Series S or X, you're going to need storage, especially if you got the S. It doesn't really matter how long or what games you play. At some point in time, you are absolutely going to be needing you're going to need storage expansion. And this is an easy one. You got to go out and grab that Seagate storage expansion drive. It's going to be a necessity. Now, it is a little expensive right now, and you can definitely put it off if it's not absolutely necessary. But for people who have the consoles, getting these is marginally easier. I say marginally because they're not selling out like crazy fast like the consoles are, and Seagate has done a good job of just at least getting them out into market. But this is something that you should definitely consider. Even if you don't have one, you could buy one of these and just sit and wait on it. Or if you know somebody that got one of these consoles, this would be a great drive if you're willing to spend about 220 bones on them because they must be a really good gaming friend. But anyways, you should definitely consider expansion drives because the consoles, regardless of what you play or how long you plan on playing or just whatever, you're going to run out of space. These games are getting big. They're getting bigger. Microsoft has tried to do some stuff to make the game download smaller, but at 4K, they're taking up a lot of space on that drive, and it is definitely something that you need to be thinking about here. Now, one of the things many of us can play right now, and I say many of us because it depends on where you are in the world, because if it's not supported there, then you're SOL, is xCloud or cloud gaming. Now, there's a couple really good gaming accessories out there. First off, you might want to be looking at something like Backbone. Backbone is an iOS device that will allow you to play xCloud. I started there for a second because you can't quite play xCloud on iOS yet, but we know that it's coming early next year and it's going to come via Safari. We've already seen things like Luna, they can do it. And so you're going to need a peripheral. Yes, you can use the clip attachments and they work okay, but Backbone, well, I do not have one, but I do have one coming when xCloud does arrive, will allow you to use a setup just like you see here on the screen, allow you to play xCloud in a much better way than over Bluetooth. This actually connects natively, it plugs in, and so it's a really good option if you're going to be playing a lot of mobile gaming. And mobile gaming is on the rise, and Microsoft, as we all know, is making a huge investment in that arena, and so it is something that you might want to consider. But this is primarily for iOS users. You were saying, Brad, I have an Android device. Well, I got you covered. You might already know this one, the Razer Kishi. This is me playing it here, playing Ori, one of my favorite games. And so this is definitely a highly recommended device if you are playing xCloud on Android. It just plugs in via USB Type-C, so make sure you have the right port on the bottom. And as long as you meet the basic requirements there, this is something that is going to add a lot of value to your gaming experience. It basically turns it into an Xbox-like Nintendo Switch. And this is something that you should be able to go out and get relatively easy today. The Backbone can be a little bit more difficult to find, so if you can't get your hands on it yet, so just keep that, just be aware of that. But right now the Razer Kishi is pretty easy to get, and it adds a lot of value to the xCloud gaming experience, which is a good thing because, as we all know, Microsoft is making a lot of investments in there. Now, the number one thing I actually recommend that you go out and buy, if you cannot get your hands on a next generation console, if you cannot get your hands on an RTX 3090 or 3080 and you really want to up your gaming, you've already got a good headset, without a doubt, toss your money into an Elite Series 2. This controller is not perfect. I will fully admit that it is not perfect, but it is fantastic. I used it on the Xbox One. I also brought it over and I'm now using it on my Xbox Series X, and it truly levels up your gaming experience. It's got the right heft so far, and I say so far, the rubber on the pads has not fallen off. It looks like it's going to stand the test of time, but I haven't heard too many major issues. There's been stick drift, but overall, it looks like these controllers are doing really, really well. Now, the one thing I say to be careful of is if you ever drop it, see how there's no analog sticks on there, the caps. Those things do go flying off. I actually found them. I took them off specifically for this video just to show what's underneath, because you can turn those little screws in there to make it tighter. But the Elite Series 2 is definitely a controller you should go pick up if you are serious about gaming on the Xbox and you can't buy an next-gen console. This thing works with both consoles. It's the best controller, in my opinion, that you can buy right now. It is not cheap. You're looking at over $150 depending on what coupons and what sites you find, but you can find deals on it. And the Elite Series 2 is definitely something that everyone should recommend. I've had no issues with the battery life. It runs for a while. They say 40 hours, and that honestly still feels about right. And I've been using mine for a long time, basically since the day it came out. So over a year at this point. And so I can confidently recommend the Elite Series 2. As long as you get a good one out of the box, you will be extremely happy with the gaming experience there. So just a quick recap, go grab yourself a new pair of headphones. That's a good, quick, easy upgrade, and there's a wide variety of price points. And make sure it does Dolby, because that is going to be a big thing going forward. You can also go get a new router. A router is going to improve the fidelity of not just your gaming, but everybody else in your house. If you're streaming a lot of Netflix and all that stuff, and you're still using the router that came from your internet provider, dump that thing like a bad habit and go get yourself something new. You can go expand the storage of the Series S and X with that 1 terabyte drive from Seagate. Be on the lookout for when those become available, and then upgrade your xCloud experience with either the Backbone when that becomes available for iOS, because obviously xCloud's still not there, or the Razer Kishi. Those are two quality options for giving a Switch-like Xbox experience, and then go pick up an Elite Series 2. There's a wide variety of price points there, none of which are linked below. I've got some additional reviews below. I don't do Amazon affiliate links, so this is just me pulling out things that I think you could use that are going to make your gaming experience better. I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you guys like the Elite Series 2? There's also some from Scuf Gaming. They do some fantastic customized controllers that you can basically configure any single way you want. You can adjust the paddles, you can adjust the paint colors. There's also Colorware, who can create custom Xboxes for you, but everything is up to you. I'm waiting for Microsoft's Design Lab to come back online, because that would have been another excellent recommendation to go build out your own custom controller, but we are not there yet. overall, I think Microsoft has a lot to offer, and there's also a lot on the PlayStation side as well. The bonus pickup here is Game Pass. If you've got nothing else and you can't figure out what to do for yourself or for a friend, get them a subscription to Game Pass. Starts at about 15-ish bucks a month, and you can get some bundle deals on occasion. And that is the easiest way to be like, look, here's a little redemption card. Now you can go play 100 plus games, including all of EA titles. So a lot of things on the agenda that you can actually get from a gaming perspective, even if you can't get a next-gen console. Let me know in the comments below what you're picking up this holiday season, because I'd love to expand my horizons.